Okay, so finally, Akaash finally responds to all the drama around his wife. So let's hear what he says.
Again, I don't think these narratives, people calling your wife a gold digger and a whore and all these other things. Again, I don't think these narratives, people calling your wife a gold digger and a whore and all these other things, it's a shitty thing. My wife and I met in 2014. I was not making much money. I was getting $25 a night doing stand-up. She was a gold digger. I didn't even have 10 to get the bitch, to be honest. But then in 2018, I went flat fucking broke. 34 years old, I probably made $4,000 that entire year. And we couldn't even afford the living room we lived in New York City. We had to move out of that apartment and move to New Jersey. And what's even sadder than moving to New Jersey is I had to save up money to move to New Jersey. So we had to stay on her friend's couch for almost a month. We were basically homeless for a month. So I could save money to move to New Jersey. It's just me and her sleeping on a hardwood floor. I'm 34 years old. She's 25 years old. I'm looking at this girl like, man, you could go be with an Indian who's a doctor, like a real Indian. You're a beautiful girl. You have so much ahead of you. Me, I don't know what my life is going to be. I'm 34. I'm fucking broke. This dream might not ever happen, but I'm too fucking moronic to quit. And I have nothing to give her. It's like October. We have nothing. So I hand her the jacket. And then she said, what's this for? I said, you can use that as a pill.
Okay, so let's talk about this, right? So what he's saying is he was broke when he met her, so she wasn't a gold digger. And that's great. You know, it's a good story. But we're not talking about if she's a gold digger. That's like the least of the problems of what's really going on. What the main problem is the way that she's disrespecting you, my bro, okay? She's literally telling people on the internet that she wants to sleep with a bunch of guys. This guy has a 10-inch long that, she was with a bunch of other dudes in college, white boy frat houses. And, she was popping her, what, right? So it's not the fact that she was there for you when you had nothing. It was the fact that she's disrespecting you. Now you're saying, oh, she could have been with doctors. I'm pretty sure some Indian doctors or, engineers or lawyers wouldn't want to be with her by the way of how she is, because she's very disrespectful. So I'm sure that if she already was walking all over you in the very beginning, despite that she was there with you when you had nothing, it still cancels out in my playbook, okay? Why? Because you don't want to just find a woman that's there for you, ride or die. You want her to also respect you, okay? And she's not respecting you by destroying you online and telling everybody how she wants to have, sex with a bunch of other guys, okay? That's the most disrespectful thing. If anything, it cancels out. Same here, brother. I'm in the same boat as you. When I found my wife, I didn't have any money. I was broke too. I was a broke jiu-jitsu bum, but my wife saw a lot of potential in me. She loved me. We fell in love, and now I'm supporting her. I provide for our family. And, I'm not like a super rich guy, but yeah, now that we've been together for 8 years, do we still like have fights and disagreements in like marriage? Yeah, but it doesn't mean that she's over here disrespecting me in like, publicly by saying all these things, because if that's the type of woman that she is and she's doing, I would never be with her in the first place, because I see her as a good woman that is respectful. Sure, like I said, am I a perfect person? No. Do I make mistakes? Yeah, but you'll never see my wife doing those type of things where she's just trying to publicly do that, like your wife. So that's a completely different ballgame, dude. So she's absolutely destroying you. Look, let's take a look at what she said. So, because a lot of people can look at it like, oh, well, she was there, like, that's amazing. Like, that's he's justifying his emotions through logic of what happened before, but that's never going to really, it's never really going to be satisfied because of what she's saying to everybody in the world about you and other people. So let's just, for example, right?
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses who could not tell me nothing. And I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like...
Does that sound like a wife material to you, Akaash? Come on, bro. Wake up. Smell the coffee, dude. Smell the freaking coffee, okay? Pretty sure everybody but you know what the heck is going on. burying your head in the sand, dude. And it's not a good look for you, dude. Like you're used to, like I liked you, man, as a guy. Like, you know, listening to you and like being a comedian, you're funny, man. And one of my favorite things about you was the fact that you can improvise and just kind of joke around with people that were, you know, whenever that you did a show, you were just like, what do you do? Oh, what about you? Da da da. Oh, India. Da 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 da. It was like it's really funny. I love that. But now, how are you going to do that when you're talking, you're roasting all these guys and women in relationships, and then they're just going to fire back at it like, dude, your wife wants to sleep with all the dudes. You know, like what then what, bro? You know, like you have nowhere to go, dude. You got to address it for real, for real. You got to really address it, okay? You got to swallow that pill and address it because everybody wants to know. For me, I don't really care. But the reason why I do these videos is because I am a dating relationship coach and I help guys find the right woman and definitely avoid women like these type of women, okay? I don't care if she was there for you when you didn't have any money. That's great. And that's what a lot of guys should do instead of finishing, you know, waiting till the finish line. But if you wait in the finish line, you can still find one, but it's you gotta still be smart about choosing the right woman that's gonna be there for you, not just what you have, right? That's a whole different ball game right now. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about you right now. What are you doing about this situation here? Because what's gonna happen if she keeps doing that over and over? Then what? Then what? What's the outcome? Right? Let's just continue. Let's see what she said. She said she was popping her pussy and that she was rotating all these dudes. Dude, oh. And she told you that she was a virgin. Isn't that what she said? So, I mean, I'm not really sure what you're doing there. You're justifying by, oh, you know, I was broke and, you know, she was there for me. Cancels out, bro. We're not talking about that. That's like the least of anything. I'm talking about right now what she's saying. How are you addressing this? And as a man, you got to address it as like you're laying down the law. What you did right there, I don't like it, delete it, never do that again. If you ever do that again, I'm done with you. You have to be willing to walk away by having strong self-esteem right here in the mind and knowing that you can get another girl, right? Let's see what she keeps saying, because you're saying, oh, this, but this is what I'm saying here.
I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses who could not tell me nothing. And I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like,
dude, what the heck? What the heck? Right? For all the guys out there, I'm a Christian, man. And it's like, for me to be like, oh, like you got to find a Christian woman or da-da-da, right? Like when I met my wife, we weren't like so Christian, right? Like we are now, but we still, you know, had good morals. And it's super important for you to find a good woman that doesn't have this type of mouthpiece where she's just spitting out venom like this. Like this is horrible. Like for some reason, it's like a new thing now for women to be bragging about this, right? Alex, what's her name? The Cooper girl, Alex Cooper, Call Me Daddy. Those type Christian from Laguna Beach or something like that. I don't know her last Cavalieri or whatever. This woman, Jada, like all of these women, they love to do that. They're destroying their husbands, their partner, their the guy that they're with. That's the worst thing to do as a man. Like I'm telling you, you can gain all the success in the world. You can make all the money, but if you choose the wrong woman, this is what's going to happen here. Okay. This is what's going to happen. And there's other videos of her saying that she wants to have an orgy with another guy. And, you know, this guy has a 10-inch dick or whatever. So this woman's clearly not a woman of God. She doesn't have God. And, you know, it's important. Like for me, when we got married, we got closer to God. We got closer to our faith. We got closer to Jesus. And that's a huge thing that has helped us out, not just in, you know, ourselves, but in our marriage and also in ourselves personally, just individually, right? Putting our faith in Jesus and trying to be more Christ-like, even though we will never be, even though I'm always going to sin and make mistakes along the way, but I'm doing my best and I'm asking for forgiveness. And, you know, whenever that my wife and I fight, we come back together and we love each other. You know, the vision stays the same, right? But when we fight, I'm not over here going to the bars, going to the clubs and, you know, getting a stripper, you know, going to the strip club or going to the whorehouse. I don't do that. I don't want to do that. And neither does my wife. She gets mad at me. She's like, get out of the house. Get out. She's not going to go and, go on online and do this, like, oh, dude, I want to get. If she spoke like that, done, right? So for you, you got to respond. Everybody wants to know what the heck you're going to say. Even your boy, Andrew Schultz. What's up, my boy, Andrew Schultz? They're waiting for you. Everybody's waiting for you. Now, as a man, you got to just take it, man. You got to take it and say that you're in the wrong. And, it's up to you what you want to do. My advice, it's marriage, right? It's supposed to be for life. I don't know about this one, right? Who am I to say, right? I make mistakes too, right? But, if it was me, it would be done, right? But for you, someone who doesn't really have much, understanding, much knowledge, right? You got to talk to her and tell her to stop disrespecting you, or else you're done forever. And you can find someone else, dude. Can you find another woman that loves you, that respects you? The answer, of course you can, right? Don't live in a scarcity mode where you think that she's the only one, right? Because she was your first, even though how she's obviously you weren't her first, based off of what she's saying over here with all the guys that she was rotating, right? So it's up to you to really hold your frame, tell her what she did, all the disrespectful things, and tell her she's got to change or else. And if you don't do that, good luck, my boy. If you guys like this video, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I do practical videos on this, on being able to find the right woman, right? Being able to attract your dream woman, and more importantly, be able to keep her, maintain a strong and healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, okay? And along the way, there's gonna be challenges. So I wanna know what you guys think, right? Comment down what below, like what would you do in this situation? Like, I wanna know, like, am I the only one that would be like, dude, I'm done, dude. Like, I don't accept that type of woman in my life, right? What would you do, right? For me, you already know what I would do. What would you do? What do you think is the most disrespectful thing that she said? And what would your advice to him be, right? And maybe you have, a story that you've had in your life that you've had something like this. I think we all have in the beginning of our dating life, when we're like immature and we don't really know what's going on, right? So I want to know, tell me, right? So if you guys want, join my community. It's only $67. It's a personal development community that is focused on finding the right woman and keeping her, okay? And also, if you guys want to do one-on-one coaching, definitely apply down below on my calendar, and we'll do more of one-on-one. It's more premium, but either way, they're amazing stuff. Other than that, make sure that you choose wisely.